that every Bitcoiner knows by heart. Never sell your Bitcoin, right?
All you have to own to capture 90% of all of the crypto market's alpha or pricing volatility is simply Bitcoin and Ethereum. You don't need anything else.
And my weighting is 2/3 BTC, 1/3 ETH.
From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well. Never sell your Bitcoin.
Politicians are telling you directly what to buy, not only through their words, but through their actions. In this video, I'm going to tell you how the 1% interpret political policy to win on investments and what assets specifically could benefit the most from political policy this market cycle. If you are an investor that wants to understand how the 1% uses politics when investing, you're going to want to hear this. First, politics and the stock market have always been linked. When the government outsources contracts, it usually does to private companies. It could be Lockheed Martin or Boeing for fighter jets, or it could be Microsoft for cybersecurity. Private companies over the years made billions of dollars from government contracts. One of the most recent examples of this is the Affordable Care Act, passed in 2010 by President Obama. This law gave medical insurance to an estimated 50 million people who were previously uninsured. Through premium tax credits, subsidies, and healthcare expansion, the government started out spending $20 billion per year in 2014, and that expanded to over $100 billion per year estimated by 2021. Where did this money go? It went to private companies providing the healthcare. Just to name a few, companies like Centene, Molina, and UnitedHealth. I'm sure that you've heard of some of these companies, but to refresh you on how beneficial the ACA Act was for their stockholders, I'm going to show you the 10-year returns from the end of 2009 to the end of 2019. As you can see, Centene Corporation, if you had held it during that time period, you would be up over 1,000%. If you had held Molina Healthcare, you'll be up over 800%. If you had held UnitedHealth, you'll be up over 860%. The S&P 500 would have only returned around 200% in that 10-year period. If you had just held any of these three healthcare companies due in part to the ACA, then over that 10-year period, you would have beat the S&P 500 by 4 to 5 times. But if you're not sure, let's even look at the 15-year returns. From the end of 2009 to the end of 2024, you can see that Centene Corporation was up over 1,000%, Molina was up 1,900%, and United Healthcare was up almost 1,700%, while the S&P 500 was up around 440%. Looking at those returns, you should see the importance of understanding political policy and how it can help your investment portfolio. Now let's fast forward to the current market cycle and the Trump administration. What are the 1% telling you? They're telling you that Bitcoin is going up to $1 million. They're even telling you the tokens that they are holding directly in their portfolio. They understand this intersection between crypto and politics. But if you're still unsure, let's look at the politicians who wield enormous power now to shape crypto policy. In May 2025, the Trump Media Group announced that it was going to raise $2.5 billion to buy Bitcoin and put it in its corporate treasury. That's great. But another fact that you should understand about the Trump Media Group is that 41% is owned by President Trump. Also, the company has just submitted filing to have its own Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Next, we can look at World Liberty Financial, which is owned by the Trump family. Reportedly, they have over 77,000 Ethereum, which equates to around $150 million at current prices. Also, we have Byron Donalds, who's a close ally and actually sits on the subcommittee that's determining digital assets for the United States. Just in January, he personally bought up to $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. I'm sure that you can see how the personal wealth and investment portfolios for these politicians could influence the political policies that they support that could boost those assets in their portfolio, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. So what more proof do you need? You have the 1% telling you, as well as politicians telling you, that they are going all in on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But even with all the politicians and the 1% supporting Bitcoin and Ethereum, you still have to understand the fundamentals. Check above if you want to understand the fundamentals more about Bitcoin for my Gold 2.0 video. Also, you can click the link to understand more about Ethereum as well. Let me be clear. Politicians or the 1% pushing an investment is not the only thing needed. Assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum have strong fundamental properties. Whether they're supported by political policy or not, I would be bullish on these. As we indicated in this video, when trying to understand the 1% or the smart money, you actually want to see where they are placing their dollars. Where are they placing their hard-earned money? Because that's going to influence their decisions, what policy they support, and ultimately their beliefs and convictions. And that's what's the angle. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on those notifications. And I'll see you next time.